proportion, balance, scale, windows aligning, but modern interiors and modern floor plans.
In addition to directly in a historic district, directly by the downtown, and then right on the waterfront, it's a new home. I mean, you know, you think about the fact that you're living in a brand new home.
So if you can get everything, reaction, place, other things of an old house, but have it in something brand new that's modern and energy efficient and laid out just the way you want, wow.
And the location is unique too. To be able to be on the water, in a park, in the downtown, in the historic district, and not just be a 5-minute or 10-minute loop around the neighborhood, that's not something that you would experience in really any other small town. One of the things that you would appreciate as a community is you have this charming and quaint downtown, but you also have all of the modern conveniences. And you see the great shops, so you see restaurants, you see the arts district, and a vibrant artisan community.
We've had the pleasure of meeting all of the store owners and just their excitement over the city of Washington and what is going on.
Little Washington has the best people I've ever made. And I know that you see that or hear that from other places, but it's truly the best part about this town.
The people in this town are genuinely very friendly, nice people.
Very quaint, and it's a great place to live.
It is the best place to live in the United States.
And I just absolutely love it here.
The people are what make this town.
One of the things that you would quickly notice when you come into town is the amount of activity in the community.
Our kids grew up kayaking, water skiing, fishing. Before they could drive, they would get on a boat and come downtown to get ice cream. You always feel like somebody's watching and looking after your children, and it's an easy lifestyle.
We've got this convergence of all of these different factors, and if you just remove one of those, you may be describing another place, but you're not describing this place.
The Jenny was designed by a designer named Merritt Walters, and actually was used as a sail training vessel up in the Great Lakes originally. She's been as far north as New England, as far out as Bermuda, been through the Panama Canal a couple of times, and been as far south and west as the Galapagos Islands, 500 miles off of Ecuador in the Pacific Ocean. So she has quite a background. She was brought to eastern North Carolina about 10 years ago and has been sailing, doing sail training and excursions primarily, originally in the New Bern area, and 4 years ago she was brought up to Washington, and we've been sailing out of here for the last 4 years. It's a 72-foot gaff rig schooner. A schooner means that it has two masts, and the one in the back is taller than the one in the front. We don't carry passengers. We do excursions, but the people who come out on the boat help us to hoist sails and trim sails and steer the boat, and we like to get them the sailing experience of sailing on a traditional tall ship. We're doing typically afternoon and sunset sails that are about 3 hours in duration, that are visitors to Washington that want to get a chance to have a sailing adventure. Captain Rick Brass of the schooner Jenny B. We do a variety of cruises and charters and sailing adventures out of Sea Dock at the Washington Waterfront Docks in Washington, North Carolina.
We are Wine and Words and Gourmet. We started out as Wine and Words, which is wine and books. And then we added specialty foods. That's the gourmet part. We have wines from all over the world, beers, local North Carolina beers, and from around the world. Every Friday afternoon we have wine tastings so that people come in and we taste wine. I tell them about wine and gives them a chance to discover new best friends in the wine world. We always get, almost every weekend, new people discover Washington. We're kind of a fixture on Main Street, and people, that's how people discover us. They come walking down Main Street and see that there's Wine and Words and Gourmet and come in and try us out. People are always asking me about what's my favorite, but we have over 300 wines here, and that's like, which is your favorite child? You know, I like wine a lot, and my wife, who is the co-owner of the store, she mostly does the food part. I mostly like wines from Spain, kind of a specialty of ours, and people enjoy being turned on to new things in Washington. One of the things we do is we keep a record of customer purchases. So people will come in, say at Christmas time, and say, do you know what kind of wine so-and-so likes? And I look it up and I say, absolutely. And then they get a really nice Christmas gift because I know what they like. People come in often and say, I really don't know anything about wine, and I always say, then you've come to the right place, because you don't have to be a wine geek here. This is a place where you can, if you enjoy good things in life, then we can help you with that.
Marabella footprint in Pitt and Beaufort counties includes Marabella Italian Restaurant in Washington, which I first reviewed 8 years ago, although it's been there longer, a well-established Marabella Pizza and Pasta shop in Greenville, and Nino's, a 3-year-old more upscale restaurant also in Greenville. The Marabella restaurant in Washington has become a local favorite.
Washington's been very good to us, and our business has, flourished. And we renovated our restaurant to appeal a more Italian look and artigiano look, a little artistic. So it looks like an Italian home, Italian restaurant in Florence.
The father, Nino, was a specialty bread baker when the family lived in Queens.
All kinds of bread, artisanal bread, breadsticks of every description has always been so important to this family's whole history. Hear the crunch? Homemade mozzarella made in-house, tomatoes, roasted red peppers, Kalamata olives, arugula, and a balsamic glaze with olive oil. Oh.
How about hot spaghetti served out of a bowl that's actually a scooped-out cheese wheel? Irresistible.
Sal and his family and his associates have known me for a long time. They're really my friends, so they're not going to let me eat too much of this. I'm kind of trying to change my ways a little, but that's in honor of my friends. It's so fantastic. This is spaghetti and puttanesca sauce, but it is covered by eggplant and artichoke hearts and some Kalamata olives, as you see. The spaghetti is down there, though, and we're going to get to it. I like some basil right on top so you know it's in there. You will not find anything better to eat within 1,000 miles of here.
Do you think Italian when you think pork chop? I do, at least when I'm at Marabella.
Pork chop agrodolce, sour, sweet, sweet and sour. What can I say? Are you kidding me? Cheesecake and a puff pastry with salty caramel chocolate truffle ice cream. Chocolate and caramel glaze. Yum.
Brother Pietro normally oversees the pizza and pasta shop in Greenville, although all the brothers have helped win recognition for pizza excellence at competitions in the U.S. and in Sicily. Brother Massimo is usually at Nino's in Greenville, where he enjoys putting together dishes like braciole, thin sliced beef tied up with twine around various fillings, then slow cooked for several hours.
Braciole.
There are 3 Washington and Greenville locations at present, with one overall reputation for excellent Italian food. I really appreciate what these guys do.
Okay, so the next thing is what? Shrimp scampi?
The Marabella footprint is in both Greenville and Washington. Marabella Italian Restaurant is at 601 Carolina Avenue in Washington, and you can find out more information online at marabellarestaurant.com. Marabella Old World Pizza is at 1898 Greenville Boulevard Southeast in Greenville. For more information, go online to marabellapizzeria.com. And Nino's Cucina Italiana is at 511 Red Banks Road in Greenville. For more information, you can go online to ninoscucinaitaliana.com.
The following program is shot in 4K high dynamic range and broadcast in high definition from Capital Broadcasting Company. Tonight on Out and About.
Welcome to Washington.
This town is amazing.
There's so much going on.
Right on the Pamlico River.
It's always been that quaint little paradise.
This is where it's at.
Go Out and About.
Welcome to Washington. I'm Jonathan Russell, the city manager. Washington has a rich historic history dating back to the Revolutionary War. Nestled on the banks of the Pamlico River, its number one asset is its people, and it also is home to a vibrant harbor district with numerous things to see and do. If you're just visiting on the weekend or just coming to relocate, to make it your new residence, there's a little bit for everyone here in the community.
Hi, welcome to Elmwood. Come on in. Elmwood 1820 is a bed and breakfast inn in Little Washington, North Carolina, and we're glad you're here. The main part of the house was built in the mid-1820s and renovated and expanded in the 1860s in the Italianate style. That's when we got all the really great porches and all the Italianate detailing on the outside. And around 1910, 1911, the house was moved to its current location and is pretty much what you see today. Well, when we decided to open a B&B, we really didn't want to do an 1860s period piece, so our taste is kind of eclectic, and so we have a nice mix of modern art, contemporary furniture, along with some antiques, and I think it really suits our personal style. Our goal here was to really make a space that's comfortable and inviting and livable, and really, we did not want a museum. As far as the art goes, we actually already had a pretty extensive collection of modern arts, but what we've done in town is work with local galleries and display some of their pieces. And we really like those things, bringing in sort of the unusual and things that you wouldn't necessarily see in a regular B&B. We actually struggled for a little while trying to figure out, what are we gonna name the rooms? Well, what kind of people do we see using those rooms? And that kind of was the aha moment. How about a writer or a painter or an explorer? And then we decided, well, then we have one more room and we want it to be our bridal suite. And, well, that has to be the romantic. So we decided to come up with names and name the rooms and theme the rooms after the people that we see staying here. We are B&B, so we take our second B very seriously. I really spent a lot of time, and my grandmother hopefully would be proud of this, but I make a pretty mean biscuit. So that's a pretty big part of our meal. We really do go all out with our breakfast service, homemade jams, homemade breads, pretty much homemade everything. We moved down from Washington, D.C., one, to get away from traffic. The welcome that we received when we came here was just overwhelming. It was beyond anything we could have ever expected. And that's just the way the people are here. I mean, they're warm and inviting, and just it's a truly remarkable place right here on the Pamlico. Well, now we're outside on our great porches. This is a great place to relax, sit out here, have some lemonade or a glass of wine. And it's just a great, relaxing environment. You can hear the trickle of the fountain right behind us. It just makes you want to sit on the porch and enjoy what Little Washington's all about.
Welcome to Rachel K's Bakery. We're located in Washington, North Carolina on the Pamlico River, and we're glad you're here. Yeah, we do high quality European style pastries, and we do them from scratch. So I grew up in Beaufort County and started making baked goods out of my home in 2010 and selling at the local farmers market, and did that for about 3 or 4 years. And then in 2015 bought the building that we're currently located in and renovated it, and we've been open since then, serving pastries and coffee and homemade sandwiches and salads and things like that. So the building was built in 1884, which is pretty old for this area. A lot of things got burnt down in the Civil War, and so 1884 it was built as the first firehouse, and then they used upstairs as a city hall and meeting place. So I really love the history and how it's connected to the city. We make everything from scratch. We don't buy any mixes, we don't buy any artificial ingredients. We do everything from flour and yeast and butter and milk. We use milk from a local creamery that's located in Ayden, North Carolina. And we buy our eggs from people that raise the chickens around here. We buy seasonal produce from our local farmers, and so we try to incorporate as much as possible things that are produced here locally. We get our coffee from Counterculture Coffee in Durham, and so that's as close as we could get at the time for our coffee roasters. So you are invited. We would love for you to come to Washington. It's not that far from Raleigh. It's an easy drive east on 264, and we'd love to have you down here and show you what we have in Washington, North Carolina.
Welcome to Southern Grace Boutique. We have affordable clothing, accessories, shoes, and baby clothes now. We specialize in making everyone feel beautiful and special. We usually will help clients on finding the perfect outfit for a special occasion, for work, for that graduation or wedding. We have everything from dresses to shorts to tops, jeans, jewelry, shoes, sandals, anything you could possibly want, we probably have it. My staff is really good about accessorizing and helping everybody find that perfect outfit. Come in and see us. We're open 10 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday. We'd love to see you here at the store.
Oh, why Washington? Well, that's a tough one because there's so much going on. And we stumbled across Little Washington about 4.5, 5 years ago, and our first thought was, wow, we could really live here. Beautiful homes and architecture is very walkable. The welcome that we received when we came here was just overwhelming. It was beyond anything we could have ever expected. And that's just the way the people are here. I mean, they're warm and inviting, and just it's a truly remarkable place right here on the Pamlico.
Welcome to the Hackney. Suzanne and I, we actually met in Chapel Hill about 25 years ago, fell in love. We got married and we moved to England, and we spent 25 years in England. Suzanne decided she wanted to come back here to North Carolina, to her hometown, Washington. So we saw this beautiful building that needed some love and care, and here we have the Hackney.
This tile is an original. It's marble. It's come from Florence, Italy. So the main restaurant, interestingly, the furniture was made in High Point, all the furniture here, and we designed it from the start.
So the building itself was built as a bank. It's got 2 stories further upstairs. There was even Washington's first commercial radio station was up on the top floor for, I think it started in the 1940s. It's been a number of guises, this building.
So this is the original vault door. Our challenge was how we were going to lay out the kitchen, and in our original design we talked about knocking the vault out. But in reality that's a very difficult task. So what we ended up doing was we made the walk-in, so that's the walk-in fridge in the vault, which is great and perfect from a design perspective, and we cut a hole through the vault to the kitchen.
Our philosophy with this restaurant is based on 4 principles. The first one is local, and that we want to be as vested as possible in the local community, and the best way to do that is to source as many of our ingredients as local as we can. We're working with all of our fish comes from the North Carolina coast. So we're first local, and because we're local, we're seasonal. So basically if it's not in season, it won't be on our menu. And because we've chosen to constrain our ingredient palette, we're more, I would say, eclectic in our culinary outlook, but we always root our dishes in the local ingredients, the wonderful local ingredients. And finally, we try and keep things simple. We want people to be able to look at their plate of food and see something that's beautiful, but that they can understand what it's all about. So, I mean, there's 2 components to any great business. There's the fabric of the building and the infrastructure, and then there's the people. I think the thing that we've been most proud of here is the team we've managed to build in such a short time. Our executive chef is a gentleman called Jamie Davis, who's from Jacksonville, North Carolina, and our sous chef, who's a gentleman called Lloyd McKissick from New Orleans. And to be honest, once we found those 2 members of our team, it gave us great confidence to move forward to kind of put the whole vision of the restaurant in place. Yeah, we invite all of North Carolina to come and visit us here at the Hackney.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, come and try our wonderful locally inspired dishes, our fantastic cocktail bar, where all our cocktails are handcrafted, fresh every day. And yeah, you'll get a warm welcome and we'll look after you.
Well, I grew up here in Washington. It's always been that quaint little paradise. I moved away for about 10 years. As all teenagers, you couldn't wait to get out and could not wait to get back. Everybody's friendly. It's a great community because everybody cares about one another. You won't find a better place to bring up children and to live.
Welcome to Inner Ranks Outfitters. This is my bike and kayak shop here in Washington, North Carolina. Welcome to Inner Ranks Outfitters. This is my bike and kayak shop here in Washington, North Carolina, where you can come and rent kayaks, buy kayaks, rent bikes, get your bike worked on, buy bikes. So I opened in 2006. There was no kayak shop here, no bike shop. It was a little weird because to me, this is the perfect place for it. So we've kind of watched this flow of kayaks, just grow over the years. I have seen a huge increase in kayaks on the river, over the 13 years I've been here. The river is, on a nice day, especially like today, is just very user-friendly. It's calm. The boaters are, great with the kayakers. There's never any conflict there. We have small tributaries that you can go up. It's an easy place for somebody to be an experienced paddler or a beginner paddler. You can go either way and be fine here. And it's one of those things where if you fall in, before you panic, try to stand up, because usually you can. And then the biking, number one, it's flat. So on top of that, the roads are beautiful. I mean, you go 2 miles outside of town and you're in tobacco fields or, soybean fields. It's just beautiful. It's calm. Really nice, safe cycling community here. So we have a couple varieties of lessons we offer. If you rent from us and you've never kayaked or paddleboarded before, we have a free 5-minute lesson we'll give you. Every one of the people that works in the shop knows that lesson. We can get you on a board or in a kayak and give you 5 minutes and send you off, and most people are fine with that. If you're looking for something to do in Washington, North Carolina, this has got to be one of the places that you stop in, check us out, take a kayak out, take a bike out, whatever you do, just come on in and come out and play.
Hey, welcome. Come on in. I'm Deborah Torres. I'm the director here at the Historic Turnage Theater. It was built in 1913 by Mr. Hodges. So when the theater was built on the back in the late 1920s, Cecil B. DeMille actually opened his film La Escadrille here. We're actually an arts council, and so we took over the theater in 2013, and it was largely restored on the bottom. We've been beautifying it ever since.
Welcome to the Wine Crate. The Wine Crate is the local riverfront hangout for Washington, North Carolina, and kind of the melting pot of the community. We have a little bit of everything. We're most known for our charcuterie, our artisan wines, craft beers, and our gourmet grilled cheeses. We have a wonderful North Carolina blueberry sangria. We have sparkling rosés from France, craft beers from all over the world, a lot of local NC beers as well. The reason the Wine Crate's the place to be is all of our events, community involvement, block parties, live music, trivia, open mic night, the beautiful view, the sunsets on the river, getting to watch the boats and all the great little puppy dogs go by. So it's just a wonderful place to come, relax, and unwind. We chose Washington because it was such a tight-knit, small community. It just really has that down-home feel. And we kind of did coffee shop meets wine bar, something that was missing in this town that we just really needed for community involvement. Everybody just kind of hang out, pick up their feet, and act like it's their own living room. Being a mother-daughter duo sounds really hectic, I'm sure, to some people, but we think and act so much alike. We're really interchangeable. If one of us can't be there, the other one can pretty much answer the question or fill in and do anything the other one does. Come see us at the Wine Crate.
Welcome to the Washington Waterfront Underground Railroad Museum. And so what we do here, we share the history of the Underground Railroad here in Washington, how freedom seekers got their freedom from this beautiful river. The most unique part about what we share is the uniqueness of Washington. They got together and they worked together to ensure the freedom of hundreds of freedom seekers from the greater Washington area. We call this our presentation room. Washington at one point was a virtual slave market. So many people were here to buy slaves, but also because it was a significant port. Many cities in the north, major cities, they traded here in Washington for lumber, pork products, cotton, beeswax. And many of those merchants were abolitionists, but you needed help to get on those ships. And so freedom seekers working with abolitionists in the local area, they came up with ways to use sunflowers to convey a message. by way of developing a code around the particular object to signal when it was safe to try to make your way to the water's edge. People don't always understand what the Underground Railroad was. People may not have always understood what exactly happened during slavery. So it's important for us to tell these stories because slavery was a very hard time in this country for thousands of people. It left a stain in our history. It was humanity at its worst. But also the Underground Railroad with people helping people was actually humanity at its finest because many people risked their lives to help freedom seekers. So it's a great story to tell even today. And so by going to the National Park Service, which we are a part of, you can find about any National Park Service Underground Railroad network to freedom site in the United States, some places in the islands, and people from all over the world reference our page so that they can learn more about it.
This town is amazing. People are genuinely nice here. And then it's just beautiful. I mean, this is my view every day, the river. And, you know, and I'm hanging out with my friends that own a tiki bar, you know, and I would never change a thing from here on out. I love it here.
Here we are at the North Carolina Estuarium. So the estuarium is located almost exactly where the river meets the ocean. 60 miles that way, as the crow flies or the sailboat sails, is Ocracoke. And then right here at the bridge is where the Tar River comes into play. 40 miles that way is Greenville. Right here is exactly where the salt water becomes brackish, and it is the mother of the entire ocean. 80% of everything that we find valuable comes from, eats from, or is part of an estuary at some point.
This is the exhibit hall of the estuarium, and estuaries are unique systems where you have salt water from the oceans mixing with fresh water from the rivers. They create a nursery area for a lot of ocean-going fish, just a remarkable amount of bioactivity going on in estuaries. We are right here in Washington, North Carolina, which is really where the estuary begins. We have traces of salt water usually right outside the estuary here. Upriver, the Tar River portion is fresh, heavy salt water down here in the sounds, and but right around here we start to mix. So we divide the estuarium up into sections relating to the fresh water, where the water is brackish, and then where it gets really salty down into the sounds. And then we have a room really devoted to human life around the estuary, the maritime culture of the North Carolina Sounds, which extends back to the very beginning of settlement here.
So what we have here is the lobby sculpture. The artist intended to build an osprey's nest, which represents the estuary as the mother of the ocean. Took the wood out of the river, this driftwood here, and wove it together. Ospreys, they mate for life. Within the nest, though, he makes the metaphor for home a little larger. He builds the state of North Carolina here. So you've got the mountains where the points and the pine cones are. You've got Raleigh and the capital, Durham, Chapel Hill, Triangle area, the Piedmont there where the bottles are, so where the manufacturing. And then down in the sticks is actually where we are now, where we live. It's the farm fields where the tractors plow the furrows. You've got the Outer Banks curving down the outside. So he incorporated the idea of home from a bird's nest through the estuary to the state of North Carolina. And then he puts us into the cosmos where we have the sun up here. And we need a counterpoint, so we've got Luna to the west. The moon is what actually brings us back to the whole point of this thing, and that the lunar cycle, the moon picks up all the water on Earth every 6 hours, 12 minutes and 30 seconds, and then sets it back down. And so if we can imagine that this is a drop of water, water does three main things. It evaporates, and if you look up, there's more water in the atmosphere than in all the rivers on Earth. Cools down, precipitates onto the mountains, through the valleys and the hollers, and then through the streets and the alleys in the cities. And then it enters the estuary. The kids and I put together these prayer flags with the fish underneath, and water's filtered out through the grasses, and then it goes out the inlet and into the ocean. And because the cycle is a circle, it always comes back. So at the estuarium, you can learn about the science, the culture, the nature of the estuary. You can come to our classes where we teach anything from a summer solstice party to an estuarium in October. You can also take a free boat ride. It's the only free boat ride in America where you can be on 2 rivers at the same time. Come visit us here at the North Carolina Estuarium.
Washington is a unique community.
Washington is just the best town in North Carolina.
It's one of the only places where everyone can enjoy the river right here.
It's got wonderful shops and small businesses with very unique offers.
You come to Washington for a visit, but you stay for the history and you stay for the experience, and most definitely you stay for the people.
You'll get a very warm welcome if you come to Washington.
Here in Washington, there's lots to see and do, whether you're looking for a weekend away, a family vacation, or a new home. There's a little something for everyone.
We started out as a plain art gallery. It's just going to be 2 lines of paintings around. Well, that doesn't work in Washington. We had to have more to sell than that. This is a co-op gallery, so we all are members of the gallery. We have paintings, we have photography, we have stained glass. Now we have woodwork, we have painted furniture. We don't really do it for money. We do it for love. It's amazing because those people from out of town often come and really look hard at what you've got. And that's nice because that's really what we're here for, is for people to see it and enjoy it. We started out as a plain art gallery. It's just going to be 2 lines of paintings around. Well, that doesn't work in Washington. We had to have more to sell than that. This is a co-op gallery, so we all are members of the gallery. We have paintings, we have photography, we have stained glass. Now we have woodwork, we have painted furniture. We don't really do it for money. We do it for love. It's amazing because those people from out of town often come and really look hard at what you've got. And that's nice because that's really what we're here for, is for people to see it and enjoy it.
Southern food with a little Cajun twist. We have 12 burgers, right?
12, yes.
He thought we had 6. We have 12 burgers.
She busts me on that every time.
We have a large selection of craft beer, And we carry North Carolina rum, gin.
Try and carry as much North Carolina beers, alcohols, wines as we possibly can. We get a lot of ECU people in here watching the games, which is fun because they're excited, about...
Tar Heels too.
We get a couple of Tar Heels. Since I went to Carolina, we get a couple. We're the first restaurant to open every day and the last one to close every day. We're open every day of the week. So if people come downtown, there's always going to be a place they can stop and eat, come just drink a beer, meet a friend, or whatever.
And we want everybody to have a good time and not be so uptight. It's a fun place.
We come into town and I see this humongous body of water. And I remember thinking in my mind, that is a needle in a haystack.
What was part of my journey here was the inspiration from great old places. My desire after being unveiled to what really caused great places to be great was to find a place to go to work on one of those neighborhoods.
To find this jewel at such a sweet town has been pretty special. That's what I've been very excited about. So I've spent most of my professional career trying to create.
When I came here, I saw this really funky little place, but it was on the water. And we said, that really needs to be something like where we came from in Florida. For us, when we're on our boat here, it's so lovely. There wasn't any place you could actually go to, casual, no shoes, in your bathing suit, and get a hamburger. And that's what we decided to do. And so we learned how to do things, and the customers told us what they wanted because a lot of times we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't realize, how much seafood people wanted to eat around here. And we don't say that we're a seafood restaurant, but we probably sell twice as much seafood as we do burgers. We sell an awful lot of shrimp and oysters. We get our oysters from Mac Jones, who is terrific. He's right down the street. The Alamorada fish sandwich was a sandwich I used to have with my brother down in the Keys. It's a fried fish sandwich with grilled onions and cheese, and it reminds me of what I used to do with my brother. We would go to this fish house in Alamorada and buy that sandwich, and we would go out and look at the sunsets. And believe it or not, the sunsets are as beautiful here as they are in the Keys. Yes, we are a bar, but we're more a restaurant that happens to have beer and alcohol. The kids are out here playing ring toss and running around and going out on railroad tracks and throwing rocks, and the parents can actually have a really enjoyable time, and it doesn't have to cost them more than the price of a hamburger. If they want to split a hamburger and sit out here and listen to music all night long, it's a relatively inexpensive way for a family to be able to have a nice night out. And we get our customers several times a week. You know, not just on special occasions, but when people have special occasions, they do come here. There's nothing like the Pamlico River. It's beautiful. The sunsets are amazing, but on a beautiful morning where there's no wind, it's like glass. It's like a mirror out there. So yeah, you have the same river, but it really changes every day. I am Laura Scoble, and I moved here from Florida about 13 years ago, and I want to extend an invitation to any of you who see this to come and visit Washington and possibly set down roots here. It's probably the best decision you will ever make.
When they bought this building, Laura literally said to me, you know, Leanne, you see that building over there? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, what would you do if you could do anything you wanted with it? And I was like, well, I'd open a kayak shop. Who wouldn't? And she's like, well, we bought it. And if you want to do something with it, it's all yours. And 10 months later, I was here. When I opened it, was selling bikes, working on bikes, renting kayaks and selling kayaks, and then all the accessories in between. And it's always been that. And then we add little things here and there. We try stuff like paddle boards. We've tried them and they're a hit, you know. But we've also tried things like when we first opened Segways, not a hit. We get a lot of people that are excited to be outside, a lot of people that are nervous, but they want to try something new. People who live in town, people who live in Raleigh, people who are just visiting from, you know, a whole nother state. We have full moon paddles, we have sunset paddles. One of our biggest hits is the wine and cheese paddles, where we take people up to Castle Island and set up a whole spread for them, and people love it. I mean, we get people come from all over for that. Any kind of cycling, very user-friendly here. I love it. I mean, I rode this morning in the rain, you know, and you know what? It was great. So it's just good, you know, and it's flat. I love cycling. I love that I get to do that, you know, almost every day, and I love that I get to go kayaking. I'm kayaking this afternoon with somebody, and it's right here. I just roll down to the water, roll out on my bike. It's all good. Everything you do here, you end up meeting somebody you don't know. You end up, you know, experiencing something you haven't experienced. I've met some really awesome people through the shop and become friends with a lot of them too. So that's probably my favorite part. You know, people come in and they're like, you know, everybody's so friendly here, and people truly are. I mean, it's a small town that people love living in. So why wouldn't we want to share our experience with everybody else? My name is Leanne Harch. I own Inner Banks Outfitters. Come out and play with us sometime.
My grandmother, she actually owned a bed and breakfast years ago, and I've always had an interest in antiques. And so one day I just strolled down to the downtown area, and I told my parents and my sister that I'm going to find a place and see what I can do and just go with my passion and my dream. And sure enough, it came true. On December 2012, we decided to go with it and see what we could accomplish by bringing furniture and painting it and just bringing a different spin into the downtown area. We find that it's just neat to see what we can do for others, as well as bringing in our reclaimed items. Our jewelry, some is local, it's handmade. We have local soaps that are handmade as well. So we try to find a lot of things that are handmade that customers find unique when it comes to purchasing gifts. We have a place on the water, it's inherited, and we always called it the cottage. So with the combination of being on the water and the downtown area being on the water as well, we thought that cottage junkies kind of flowed. And then of course people would ask, well, why do you have a monkey on a bike? And so it was just really random. We found a sock monkey while we were up in the mountains, and so it just kind of worked. And so we call our monkey CJ. So when we're going down the road and we have our enclosed trailer and it's got our logo with the monkey on the bike, people think that we're probably going to a circus. We really enjoy our area. We find that we have a lot of tourists that come through, and we love meeting different people and seeing what brings them in. Why are you buying this item? And it's just fun to hear the stories of where it's going to. We really look forward to, meeting the customer one-on-one and just getting that great interaction with them. I think it's real neat. It's a great bond, I guess you could say. And we have a lot of repeat customers come in too. I'm just such a go-getter. I'm always after what's the next big thing, or what can we do, or how much can we pack in this small space, because it is a small shop and we love to see what we can do with this space. I'm Landis Pinkham, owner of Cottage Junkies. We would love for you to come and shop downtown, and we look forward to seeing you.
Well, the mission for the estuarium and the Partnership for the Sounds as a whole is to encourage ecotourism and the knowledge of the Pamlico and Albemarle Sound region. And it's a way to promote not only the natural beauty and the bioregion, but also to promote the people and the culture that are so rich in the area. I love teaching. I love my job. Being able to talk about how special this area is, again, not only for the beauty, but what we have to offer. We're so experience-oriented. Not only do you get to see the frogs and toads, you get to hear them, or you get to actually see the blue crabs eating, or experience how a fish moves and the locomotion of that. And so it sort of changes the game for the younger kids, and even for the older people who are coming in. Well, on top of the actual tour, one of our most popular things is the river roving tours. And those are free boat rides on the Pamlico. And so not only, again, we talk about the history of the town, we founded Washington and a great port, seaport and shipbuilding area. We also talk about some of the ecology north of the town. Typically we head upriver. It's probably one of the only river tours where you get to be in 2 rivers in the length of 30 minutes. So you get to go from the Pamlico all the way up to the Tar River back here. And then from there we go up into a place called Bear Creek, where you're able to see where the river narrows and some of the cypress and the wildlife out there. My name is Russ Chesson. I'm the educational director at the North Carolina Estuarium. I'd like to invite everyone to come out and experience our estuary.
Can I use my hands? Yes. Because I have to use my hands to tell you about it, okay? Mr. White and Toller, a local artist, was asked to do something for the estuarium when we opened in 1998. Well, he came up with the rain cycle, which is what an estuarium is all about, is water. It's where the rivers meet the sea, where the fresh water and salt water comes together to form an estuary. Our estuary is right out here, and we're the second largest in the United States. Chesapeake Bay, Virginia is number 1. So, our fresh water comes above the bridge, which is Tar River, flows down in this part of our Pamlico River, and that is why we have an estuary and brackish water, which is half fresh and half salt. Our salt water comes with the wind tides from the sound and ocean and goes back out. So when that raindrop comes in, it comes up through an air evaporation system, but the sun is on my left, and that is what shines down on the rivers, rocks, lakes, and streams and brings the vapor in. So when the raindrop goes, he's got 365 copper wires to represent a day of the year. So that tells you it recycles itself over and over and over. So when the raindrop goes up, the vapor goes around the perimeter of the sun, You can see the little track, and it goes back into the clouds of the mountains of North Carolina. Turns in condensation, back into rain. That rain comes down the mountain, comes around the Piedmont area of our state, and then it is back under the Pamlico and Tar Rivers. It's all the critters in the water. We have everything from this, that, and the other in the water. And mostly we have is no alligators. We have plenty of fish, salmon, all those things. And it goes through our estuary, goes through marshlands, and it heads for the sound in our brackish water. And these little ways back of me, it's called the ocean. That drop of rain goes into the ocean for recycling. We always have water, no matter what. Then over to my left is the lunar system, and that is the moon. We got 28 aluminum wires to represent the lunar cycles of the tides. We don't have many lunar cycles, but anyway, we say that, okay. So that is his little speech about the estuary.
That's perfect. That was awesome.
We've always talked about having a second or third restaurant, and this was actually our first idea, but we went with Grub Brothers, and that's our baby, and we love Grub Brothers, but this is more Roger's speed. He's very
I started out in the fine dining when I started out in the restaurant business in the early 80s.
We like to eat good food, and we're excited about the new menu coming.
We're trying to get new sources for the freshest everything. And we're trying to get produce the same way, the seafood, everything as local as we can get it, as fresh as we can get it. Bringing some game birds, some venison, some bison, maybe even some ostrich or emu, something like that. That's a little exotic that most people won't ever get a chance to try unless they come in a place like this. I think if you are accustomed to fine dining, you can tell when you've gotten something that's really fresh and they've started with fresh ingredients.
I do appreciate the people that come in and dine with us at our restaurants, and so I do like to do wine tastings, beer tastings, but we will always have some type of an event going on here.
I like seeing all the different people all the time and talking to them, and everybody has an interesting story, and you get to know your repeat customers. You know, they become your friends more than your customers, which is good, you know.
We want everybody to walk into the bank and feel like they're walking into someone's living room, a friend, sit down and have dinner.
Well, we like to welcome everybody, and we like to see new faces in town. We like new people to move here, buy houses, become part of the community, and we love to be the people that greet them.
The Jenny was designed by a designer named Merritt Walters, and actually was used as a sail training vessel up in the Great Lakes originally. She's been as far north as New England, as far out as Bermuda, been through the Panama Canal a couple of times, and been as far south and west as the Galapagos Islands, 500 miles off of Ecuador in the Pacific Ocean. So she has quite a background. She was brought to eastern North Carolina about 10 years ago and has been sailing, doing sail training and excursions primarily, originally in the New Bern area, and 4 years ago she was brought up to Washington, and we've been sailing out of here for the last 4 years. It's a 72-foot gaff rig schooner. A schooner means that it has two masts, and the one in the back is taller than the one in the front. We don't carry passengers. We do excursions, but the people who come out on the boat help us to hoist sails and trim sails and steer the boat, and We like to get them the sailing experience of sailing on a traditional tall ship. We're doing typically afternoon and sunset sails that are about 3 hours in duration, that are visitors to Washington that want to get a chance to have a sailing adventure. Captain Rick Brass of the schooner Jenny B. We do a variety of cruises and charters and sailing adventures out of Sea Dock at the Washington Waterfront Docks in Washington, North Carolina.
Well, it's just a little country-looking building sitting on the side of the highway with a little camper shell. Looks like a little trailer. It's a very unique place.
Scoops Ice Cream has been here for 10 years, and Vivian and I started it because we loved ice cream, and we're 12 miles out of town.
What if we're on this busy road? What if we started our own ice cream shop? So we decided to do that, and we knew that we wanted to have something funky.
So we just thought, well, if we just put this little truck at the end of the driveway, and we'll be able to go out and get ice cream, and some other people might stop as well.
Like old van bus thing, and there's like a sculpture park around.
It's pretty neat, kind of vintage, eclectic, or eccentric, I should say, and it's just neat looking. We've been here just for a few minutes.
This hidden gem is fast becoming a local favorite by serving up over 38 different flavors of delicious ice cream.
Strawberry cheesecake.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good day.
So here we are. We've got 38 flavors of ice cream and sundaes, and it seems like our most popular thing is our milkshakes.
We have our signature Nutter Waffle Sundae. And one of the top favorites is a banana love boat that we have, which is a banana split.
It's not unusual to hear folks driving for miles to order their famous banana love boat. This banana split has it all.
Banana love boat is, of course, a banana split in half, and usually vanilla and strawberry and chocolate ice cream.
Lots of whipped cream and chocolate sauce and our own strawberry sauce and our own pineapple sauce.
And then nuts, whipped cream, sprinkles, and a cherry.
It's too big. I can't eat all that.
Thanks to Chaz's love for welding, there's also a metal sculpture garden on the property for everyone to enjoy.
I'm a representational abstractionist that loves to sell ice cream so that I can keep on making more sculpture.
The sculpture park is called Scriptures in Steel. Using that idea, he's made a lot of different sculptures, kind of telling the story of Scripture.
Okay, all of the sculptures down in the woods here have got some kind of a biblical inspiration for me. I don't have names and plaques on a lot of them because I want people to just enjoy them as sculpture.
I think my favorite thing about what makes Scoops different is Chaz's work all in the woods and around the property.
Above anything else, Scoops is a beautiful place in the country where anyone can just come and relax for a while.
I don't know, just to like have some ice cream with my kids. It's just a nice place to be able to come and not have to worry about what I look like or what I'm wearing or anything like that.
If you like ice cream and you like metal sculpture, we're here. Come on over.
We would love to be a part of someone being able to just take a minute and be able to just sit down and just reflect on how beautiful it is and can be.
Scoops Ice Cream is located at 5091 West Pine Street in Mount Airy. They're open April through September, Wednesday to Saturday, noon to 9 p.m. and Sunday 2 to 9 p.m. For more information, give them a call at 336-352-2333 888-311-3113 or go to visitmayberry.com.
We come into town and I see this humongous body of water. And I remember thinking in my mind, that is a needle in a haystack.
What was part of my journey here was the inspiration from great old places. My desire after being unveiled to what really caused great places to be great was to find a place to go to work on one of those neighborhoods.
To find this jewel at such a sweet town has been pretty special. That's what I've been very excited about. So I've spent most of my professional career trying to create homes that have the feel of an old house, the proper proportion, balance, scale, windows aligning, but modern interiors and modern floor plans.
In addition to directly in a historic district, directly by the downtown, and then right on the waterfront, it's a new home. I mean, you think about the fact that you're living in a brand new home.
So if you can get everything, reaction, place, other things of an old house, but have it in something brand new that's modern and energy efficient and laid out just the way you want, wow.
And the location is unique too. To be able to be on the water, in a park, in the downtown, in the historic district, and not just be a 5-minute or 10-minute loop around the neighborhood, that's not something that you would experience in really any other small town. One of the things that you would appreciate as a community is you have this charming and quaint downtown, but you also have all of the modern conveniences. And you see the great shops, so you see restaurants, you see the arts district, and a vibrant artisan community.
We've had the pleasure of meeting all of the store owners and just their excitement over the city of Washington and what is going on.
Little Washington has the best people ever made. And I know that you see that or hear
Christmas tradition since 1908, Stewart's Jewelry Store has unique gifts and jewelry that will be remembered for a lifetime. Shop Beatrice's holiday collection of hand-painted designs at very special prices. Stewart's collections also include Beatrice Ball, Jaliska, and other fine lines. Our recent expansion showcases more of the highest quality jewelry and gifts, and as always, customer service comes first. Let us help you find the perfect gift for everyone on your Christmas list. Stewart's Jewelry Store, downtown Washington.
Hi, I'm Pam Anderson, President-elect of the Noon Rotary in Washington, North Carolina, and coordinator for our biggest annual fundraiser, the Smoke on the Water Barbecue and Chili Festival. In 2012, when this local festival was beginning to flounder, our Noon Rotary group took over the reins and made it a service project. Now in its 19th year, and under the direction of the Washington Noon Rotary, it has grown and blossomed into the successful event it is today. Although I would not recommend this event For a small group, if you have the kind of community that we do who will get behind your Rotary group and volunteer at the festival, then this may be the type of project that your Rotary group would be interested in. It has the potential to become your biggest fundraiser too. With our cookers, our vendors, and other nonprofit groups, Smoke on the Water has an excellent reputation. We also have a proven track record of being successful and for giving back to the community. Every penny we make goes back to local nonprofit groups, serving vital social, economic, and environmental causes, such as our food pantry, our women's shelter, the cancer center, even our high school band.
How much money have you raised in the past?
Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. I know that we've given between $10,000 and $12,000 away every year from this event. So a big boost to the economy here. This past year, we more than doubled
a Christmas
our
tradition since 1908.
Not
Stewart's
only in
Jewelry Store has unique
participants,
gifts
but in
and
money
jewelry
raised.
that will be
That
remembered
means
for a
our
lifetime.
Rotary group
Shop
will be helping
Beatrice's
20
holiday collection of
nonprofit
hand-painted
groups in our
designs at
area
very
with
special
a
prices.
significant
Stewart's
contribution
collections
this year.
also include Beatrice Fall, Jaliska, and other fine lines. Our recent expansion showcases more of the highest quality jewelry
that we make goes out to some organization or charity that just needs help in this community.
For sure.
There are committee chairmen for every aspect of the festival, and almost everyone in our club of 75 plus helps or volunteers in some way. Then the rest is done by volunteers in the community, many who are involved with the nonprofit groups who will be receiving donations. I think that you could ask any one of our Rotarians about the feeling of giving back to the community, and this takes, I mean, it's a team. It's a group of 75 Rotarians who come out and work from the time they get here for 2 days to the time they leave tomorrow. And it's just a great feeling to give back to the community and know that the need is so great and that we're able to help with it. One of our secrets for success is to serve as the backdrop for local charities and other nonprofit groups to hold their fundraisers at during the event, so that they can capitalize on the attendance we get, and we in turn benefit in food sales from the extra attendance that these events attract. It's a win-win for everyone. 2 years ago, we added dragon boat races. After seeing my very first one, I knew this would be a perfect fit for Smoke on the Water. So I met with their coordinator, we made sure that our site was usable for this type of an event, and then we approached Sound Rivers, a local nonprofit group, and asked them if they would run the races as a fundraiser for themselves.
It just seemed like a natural fit to support the Dragon Boat races, Sound Rivers, and of course the noon Rotaries Smoke on the Water. I mean, this Smoke on the Water event is an iconic event for Washington. And when you think about so many people that just love Washington and love this area, and it's that passion that really drives them and gives them the energy to do an event like this. Otherwise, how do you get all these people, out here and, all together, working together to roast pigs, to have dragon boat races, to have vendors? I mean, this is, everybody across the county comes.
It's really an eclectic event, isn't it?
It's a great event. I mean, I think it's a model.
Now dragon boat races are a fan favorite at our Smoke on the Water Festival.
Well, the Dragon Boat Race here, this is the second year they've had it. Last year it was a small thing. This year there's 15 teams competing, and we're Healing Dragons from Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're a cancer survivor team. And what else do you need to know?
Well, how many members to a team?
20 people on a team. You get 10 people paddling per side. And a drummer, we have a drummer here, and a steers person in the back, so 22 total.
That's fantastic. So you come all the way from Charlotte.
That's right.
Good.
So we're excited to be here this year. It's really nice. We came for the barbecue and the chili. That's why we're here.
Thrilled to have you. Welcome to Washington.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
It's an event that's fun for the whole family and also fun to participate in. The fire truck pull is a fundraiser for the Beaufort County Development Center. A crowd favorite, the fire truck pull pits one group of firefighters against another in a challenge to see who can pull the fire engine the farthest in a set amount of time. The pancake breakfast is a fundraiser for our Civitan group, and the duck race is a fundraiser for our Pamlico Pals. This past year, we added the Kids Zone, and it proved to be a very popular area.
My name's Lisa Woolard, and I'm the director of the Beaufort High Partnership for Children when I'm not a Rotarian. And of course, it's just natural that the Kids Zone would be something that I would be helping to coordinate. we have a little bit of something for everyone. There's a storybook theater over there. Patch Clark and her kids from ECU are putting on a great show, a fun time for the kids to be able to enjoy, and it's interactive as well.
Games, prizes, bounce houses, a train ride, storybook theater, and an art contest contributed to lots of giggling and happy children. And best of all, it was free to the kids. The art contest was held to help promote the Beaufort County Arts Council's annual Fine Arts Show, which happens at the same time as our festival. We also have a classic car show, and it has been a part of Smoke on the Water from the very start. Our patrons love to stroll along our beautiful waterfront and check out these automobiles. And what would a festival be without great music? We have a variety of musical styles reflected throughout the day. Young and old alike enjoy a little foot stomping. Although our actual job with the festival starts months earlier with obtaining sponsors to help support the event and meeting with the city to make sure things like street closings and everything are taken care of, early Friday morning we meet out in the parking lot and rope off the area for the incoming participants and vendors. Cookers start arriving and begin their setup in spaces that we have pre-measured and marked the day before. Some contestants go the extra mile and decorate their cooking site in the barbecue contest to participate in a showmanship competition. The winner gets a trophy, cash prize, and bragging rights.
Tell us your name, sir.
Joe Peterson.
Joe Peterson. Well, I've already heard that name a few times today in all the other interviews I've done. In fact, I think Charlie Meeks mentioned it to me when I was talking with him.
Yeah, Charlie won the charcoal last year, and I won the gas cooking contest last year.
Now you going for gas again?
Yeah, I'm going for gas again.
Then following the showmanship judging, the pigs are distributed to the sites where they are cleaned, trimmed, and prepared for cooking.
We're proud to be part of it. Smithfield did a good job getting these hogs together. They're beautiful pigs. We were proud to be a processor of these pigs. It's a good event. It's the biggest one that we've participated in. Over 30 pigs this year and over 30 participants. Wonderful evening to cook a pig. Beautiful time, beautiful people. Great time to do it.
Prior to being placed on the grill, festival authorities visit each site to inspect the condition of their meat prior to the cooking. Festivities actually begin Friday night with a meeting of the chief cooks of the barbecue contest, where the order for judging is determined. Then it's off to the pig parade, a comical sight of Rotarians donning pig noses and weeping for the sacrifice of their comrade for the next day's festival. This takes place at the start of the city's monthly Music in the Streets, a Friday night event.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jim. Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, we're feeling good about it. We've had a good time. The weather's been perfect.
Yes.
We got to hang out with a lot of good guys all night and got to know them, so it was fun.
Part.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Win or lose, it was fun.
I'm glad you guys could make it.
Yes, sir.
Part of this.
Yes, sir. Enjoying it.
This is traditionally cooked whole hog, cooked over either hardwood or charcoal.
Okay, how's that differ from in terms of judging on the gas from the gas?
Typically, when you're cooking over hardwood and charcoal, you're going to have a darker color. It's not going to be that golden color. It's going to be the smoke itself renders the pig much darker. And of course, you get that you get a smoke ring. A lot of times, the pink that you see in here is not that it's undercooked; it's the smoke ring. The pig taking on the characteristics of the smoke, and of course, the smoke flavor is very prominent as well. And you're not going to be able to crisp up the skin like you can with gas, because with a gas cooker, you can run up the temperature late in the cooking process to crisp up the skin. So it's a trade-off. The meat actually tastes better, I think, cooked in traditional method, but you just can't get that skin crispness. So you know.
So that's my problem.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard to have the best of both worlds.
Tell us a little bit about the North Carolina Pork Council.
Well, the Pork Council has been around quite a while, and it's really helping all the farmers in North Carolina. They got a very strong organization. It's very well maintained and very well run by Deborah Johnson. It's got a lot of support among all of its members. And it's events like this that really showcase what the farmers do in North Carolina in all aspects of farming.
And the council is, gets behind and helps promote these kinds of whole hog cook-offs?
Oh, absolutely. They are the organization that actually runs the whole hog competition cook-offs. And they have a board that sets the rules that all cookers have to follow in all of the contests. So it's a very well-run organization, very organized, and it runs just very, very smoothly.
Now, how would you advise other Rotarians or Rotary organizations if they wanted to conduct their own pig cooking, say across the country, in other states? What would you recommend they do?
With the respect and the organization that the North Carolina Pork Council has, they would need to get in touch with Miss Ann Edmondson in Raleigh at the North Carolina Pork Council. She is the lead person that actually is in charge of the whole hog competitions, and she can help anyone that would like to get into this, and she will bend over backwards to make sure that it's a success the first time they have one, and she wants to see it continue to grow.
Been up all night cooking this beautiful hog for you. Hopefully we'll do something, but we're here to meet people and have a good time. And we come a long way to do this because we have fun, we enjoy doing it. And if you want some barbecue, a good barbecue cooked the old way, get your butt down here to Little Washington.
Well, y'all have done a fantastic job. It's a good bunch of folks that throw it, that throw the event. Pam does a good job putting it together. You guys do a good job in making sure that it's coordinated well, and we're just proud to be a part of it.
Smoke on the Water is just one of those festivals where everyone's having a good time. Neighbors are conversing, kids are laughing, and people are enjoying great award-winning food. The contestants love our festival. We offer very competitive prize money, big trophies, and the prettiest setting for overnight cooking.
Well, just glad to win it, man, and glad to do it down here. This place is real nice, and they deserve the good weather down here, so I'm glad you got a good turnout, and it's a good place to come do it.
Vendors love to return to our festival because they're usually successful due to the number of people who attend the event, and they like being out on the waterfront as well.
Well, I've been coming for years and years, but just in the last 2 years, it has really doubled. It seems like every year we get more and more business, and it's a pleasure to do it in a hometown, really. And last year I was here, and it doubled from the year before, so I run out of ice cream. And I think this year the same thing's going to happen because there's so many more people out here this year. It's amazing. It's amazing at the crowd. It's just local people. I mean, I get hugs and everything from they're local people. But I know there's got to be a lot of people coming from out of town.
Would you recommend this festival to other vendors who might want to participate next year?
Most definitely. I see it growing every year now.
Our sponsors are dedicated and return year after year due to the tremendous impact that their contribution makes to the community. This past year, we had 3 major sponsors: Potash Corp., Smithfield, and Tut Media Group. Also, we had numerous other sponsors who made this festival possible. We could not do this without their support.
Would you advise a Rotarian, a Rotary organization to take this kind of project on?
Sure, we're going to do that this year. We're making a handbook, and you're doing a documentary, so we can put it all together and hand it to them on a silver plate and say, hey, take it and run with it and make money for your community too. You can find out more about Smoke on the Water online at www.smokeonthewater.info or by calling 252-944-6136. If you're interested in planning a festival in your area, call us. We'll be happy to share our experience and expertise with any other Rotary group wishing to make an impact in their community.
definitely one of the more prominent historical buildings in town. The front part, which is the double doors forward, that was all built in 1910, finished construction around 1913. In the 1920s, movies with sound came out, so did the Model T. You could come here and sit in here all day for a quarter and watch movies in here, A-list ones for a quarter, or you could go to the Rita Theater and watch movies there all day.